been active on social media a lot recently, and, you know. And I was like, ooh.
What's it at? Is it still charging?
Your boss is saying somebody out there with another one. I heard another one. Hey. You told me he's back.
Always.
You did?
Hello, I'm Chief Wayne Fisher with the Warner Robins Police Department. If you need for us to spell our names out for you later, just get with us after the press briefing here. We'll make ourselves available. We do have a follow-up appointment that we need to be at, so we'll be concise to the events of today. Again, I'm Chief Wayne Fisher with the Warner Robins Police Department, represent the Warner Robins Police Department. With me is Sheriff Matthew Bolton with the House County Sheriff's Department, and the District Attorney, Eric Edwards, from the House County DA's office. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to the law enforcement community of all of Middle Georgia and the state of Georgia through this event. Come from the governor's office on down. We've had reflections presented to us onto this, and we're grateful for that. And we're grateful to be part within the House County community that we are. On today's date, January 29th of 2026 at 8:32 in the morning, officers responded to a domestic disturbance call at 107 Rose Street. The nature of the call was an active disturbance. The call takers could hear an altercation taking place between the person making the call and a person of interest on the other side. Officers responded to that call, and the first officer on scene was at 8:35 in the morning. So again, call dispatch at 8:32. Within 3 minutes, first officer arrived on scene. As an officer was making approach and contact, as best we can determine, at 8:39 over our radio channel, we got the distress call. A call that no law enforcement officer, administrator, or any citizen should ever want to hear. Shots fired, officer down. The Warner Robins Police Department, House County Sheriff's Department responded in a unified manner, as well as members from Perry Police Department as well, and Centerville Police Department making an advisement to us as well. We arrived on scene roughly at 8:39 hours, and seeing the gravity of the situation where we're at, we implemented an immediate SWAT activation point because, to our knowledge, the offender had barricaded himself into the residence. We immediately went into securing the location point and exfiltration and aid to the victim, who happened to be a 31-year-old female, 31-year-old female, and the officer. Both had been shot. We wish to thank the EMS service with Emory Hospital. They were prompt in their response and, without caution, joined in with us to get to where the officers and victim were at to go and get them to care. The location itself was secured and negotiations were attempted and initiated, and at 9:07 hours, due to the nature of the event, I made the request call for the Georgia Bureau of Investigations to take lead into this investigation. So beyond what we'll discuss here, if you have further questions to the investigation, you will have to direct that to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Again, They are lead. Though I said we secured the perimeter, it was unknown if the offender was still within the residence or not, because there was about a 2-minute period of time from the time the officer called, "Officer down, shots fired," to when we arrived on scene. Through the SWAT tactics, which we will not discuss here in this form of fashion, the person of interest did surrender to law enforcement shortly thereafter. Again, at 11:09, he was taken into custody. In the end, I will say this: the victims, being the officer who was ambushed on their approach and the victim that was there, both are in critical condition and being treated up at Navicine Atrium. Status condition I will not provide for you at this point in time, because that is a fluid situation and I do not wish to present inaccurate information to you. But it is clear and fair to say they are both in critical condition. And I ask for the victim's family, as well as the officer who is a victim of this situation, that we as a community keep them in prayer and thoughts. Again, this was a multi-agency response. Those that responded immediately to the scene, again, was Houston County Sheriff's Office. And upon the SWAT activation, the Houston County SWAT team as well participated into this. So it was a joint Houston County Warner SWAT deployment onto this matter. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation, who has lead and has brought multiple resources down from their EOD side to the criminal investigation and their crime scene, obviously to the Warner PD family, Perry Police Department, U.S. Marshal Service, as well as the Georgia Department of Corrections K-9 unit. Again, unfortunately, when such matters happen as this, you have a unified law enforcement response within our community. And for that, as a chief of police to our community, I'm deeply grateful to the body that is here collectively, because we cannot do the job we do standing by ourselves. So on that, as having provided the base outline of what transpired this morning, I can tell you the offender, who is in question right now, has no injuries in relation to the law enforcement activities from this incident. So with that, I'll turn it over to the sheriff and then the district attorney.
Thanks, Chief Fisher. Good afternoon. I'm Sheriff Matt Moulton with the Houston County Sheriff's Office. Our community was shaken this morning by a violent and deliberate attack on one of our law enforcement officers. To the men and women that wear the badge, I stand before you today and I tell you, with the chief and the district attorney, we have your back. We will support you. You were doing the job, the officer that was involved in this was doing the job that we ask him to do every day. To wake up, put his badge on, to go and face danger, to protect this community. He was doing what we asked him to do. We will support him. We'll support the Warner Robins Police Department from this day forward. To the citizens of Houston County, I pledge to you that we are not going to let evil take over Houston County. All right. What happened today, the bad guys are pure evil, and the good guys are some of the best in the country. And as a citizen of Houston County, as a father of a child or 2 children in Houston County, I'm thankful for the law enforcement officers that we have here. Some are ones that were part of this operation are in this room today. And I would send them to hell to fight the devil and know they'd come back victors because of the quality of deputies that they are. So to Houston County, rest assured that we have your back and we appreciate y'all's support. We know that we have it. And just thank you guys for being here. Continue to pray for the officer and for the Warner Robins Police Department.
Thank you all. Eric Edwards, the District Attorney for Houston County. I don't have a lot to add beyond what these gentlemen have already said. Obviously, with a suspect in custody now, the matter will be referred to my office for prosecution, and we will initiate that prosecution with all deliberate speed, get this thing going. As a member of the judicial branch of government, who handles the courtroom side of this kind of stuff, but who works very closely, arm in arm with our law enforcement partners from all our partner agencies. This is obviously right up there with the most horrifying types of calls that I can hear over a radio or get a message from one of my law enforcement leaders about. But I cannot possibly say enough about the law enforcement leadership we have in this community for every single local agency to rally together check on each other, have people show up to see how we can help, what can we cover for you while this is going on. It is truly an amazing thing to watch, and I'm so thankful to be part of the efforts to keep Houston County a lawful and safe place to live, and a place that observes justice the way it always has. Thank you all.
Well, if you have a question or two, we have time for that, but again, it's going to be limited in scope to what our response may be, depending upon your question.
Do you guys have the suspect's name right now?
Do we have what, sir?
Do you have the suspect's name?
The suspect person in custody is Rashawn Williams,
Okay.
Spell that?
Rashaun, Williams, common spelling.
And how old is the suspect?
He's 21 years of age.
21. Do we know his relation to the victim at all?
That's currently up underneath investigation. That will be something you'll have to drive with the Georgia Bureau of Investigations.
Do they live together?
Again, that'll be a point that you'll have to bring forward Georgia Bureau of Investigations in a third interview point. They have lead on the investigation at this point in time. We start off as a domestic that we responded to. Quite obviously, we didn't have enough time to get into the facts of the matter because the officer was pretty much ambushed on arrival. So again, your question will need to go to Georgia Bureau of Investigations on the
How old's the
relationships.
officer?
Excuse me, sir.
I'm sorry, how old's the officer?
The officer's 35 years of age. He's been with the department for 8 years.
Can you share his role?
He's a patrol officer.
Do we know the name of the female injured in this?
Due to the injuries and wanting to ensure that we make proper family notifications, and again, onto that, I would defer you back to Georgia Bureau of Investigations.
Is it clear what charges the suspect is facing?
Again, I will defer you back to Georgia Bureau of Investigations onto that. This is an ongoing investigation, and again, as I stated, both victims are in critical condition. I ask for you to pray for their well-being, but depending upon status points that, one can imagine it's critical, can change the factor of what the case and directionality in which it may go.
While WGXA was on the scene, there was a neighbor who said that he appreciated the response from law enforcement. What is your response to that, Chief?
Again, what I sit there and say within the community of Warner Robins in Houston County, we are very blessed to be both servants to that, and I think the sheriff would be in agreement with that, and the DA. Peel's principle of policing is the police are the community are the police. We're very appreciative of their support.
The suspect was arrested outside of the home, is that correct?
Correct.
How were you guys able to locate him? Was he trying to flee the scene?
Again, I will leave that for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation to give you fuller detail onto it. It's an ongoing investigation.
How many officers were on scene today, if you had to give a number?
What I can tell you is every law enforcement officer that I can think of within Warner Robins Police Department coalesced around that scene. Every sheriff's deputy that was available, not on a call, coalesced onto that scene. We had probably about 3 or 4 Perry officers. Again, the middle Georgia, you had U.S. Marshal Service and their team responded, Department of Corrections, Perry. Ma'am, it would be disingenuous for me to give you a number. It was a mass of law enforcement. And again, representative of the fact that within our community, many times there's these questions about jurisdictional bounds. Again, what I would tell you, when calamity hits Warner Robins, you have one unified law enforcement body responding to it. And that was demonstrated today. And again, from the Warner Robins Police Department as the chief, very appreciative of that relationship that we have and host within this county.
After the officer was shot, was he able to get to cover safely on his own, or was he waiting for backup to get the assistance that he needed?
Sir, he was critically wounded and injured. We had to extricate him from the scene, sir.
How long was law enforcement on scene?
Again, the call dispatched out, as I stated, was at 08:32. The first officer arrived on scene at 8:35, and the offender surrendered to law enforcement at 11:09. We still have people out on scene because of that crime scene being processed.
Were there other people in the home?
No, sir. Okay. At that point, I'm going to conclude our interview point because much of your questions is going to come to where Georgia Bureau of Investigations will be your point lead on to that. Thank you for your time, and thank you to the law enforcement and civilians that are within our institutions because they are very much a supportive element into our job to provide the support we do to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.